My name is Ruth McLenithan and I am the niece of Ruth McLenithan Skellie, who was a Norman Rockwell model who was portrayed in The Marble Shooter that was found on the Saturday Evening Post magazine. So in 1939, Norman Rockwell was looking for a little redhead girl to be painted with his son Jarvis and another little boy to be portrayed in the Marble Shooter painting. So he drove to Cambridge and asked around if anybody knew where there was such a little girl. And they said, yes, Franklin McLenithan has a daughter that would be just perfect. She's got the red hair and brown eyes. And so he drove to 313 where the family lived, and she wasn't home that day. She was over at her grandmother, Susie Hedges, in Shushan at their farm. So he drove over there and he spoke with her grandmother and told him what he was looking for. And he asked Aunt Ruth, he said, is this something that you would like to do? And she said, oh yes. She goes, I think I would like to do that. And he told her, well, you're going to have to wear your hair in pigtails and you're going to have to wear a green dress, white socks, and brown shoes. And she said, oh, she goes, I can do all of that. But she did not like wearing her hair in pigtails, but she would do it, and she did do it. And somebody had just recently made her a green dress, so she was all set to, with what she was going to wear. So Norman came and picked her up that afternoon and took him back to his studio in Arlington, and where she met his son Jarvis and another little boy that was going to be in the painting with her. And also there was another little girl that was going to switch on and off with Aunt Ruth. And Aunt Ruth was kind of worried, well, what if he doesn't use me for the cover and his painting and just uses this little girl instead? But she was really happy when in the end it really was her that he used. So Norman told her that, this is what we're going to be painting and what he wanted her to do. And they proceeded to kind of tell her how to play marbles. And she was like, you don't have to tell me how to play marbles. She goes, I know how to play marbles. I beat everybody at school and I beat my brothers in marbles all the time. So they spent the afternoon working on this painting. And when they got done, she wanted to see it. And he said, nope, you can't see it until it comes out on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post magazine. So when it did come out, her father went to Cambridge to the drugstore and bought all the magazines that they had. So he proceeded throughout the day to hand them out to all his family and friends. So when he got home that afternoon, Aunt Ruth was like, where's my copy? And he said, I don't have any more. He said, I gave them away to all my friends and family. So she was just devastated to think that she wasn't going to have her own copy. But in the end, one of her aunts had purchased a copy, and this is the actual copy that they gave her. So it's framed here, and it stood in her house for years and years, and now it gets to hang in my dining room. Later in life, she became a part of the Norman Rockwell reunion that they had in the fall every year for quite a few years. And she would travel to those, and she would get out in front of people and tell her story just like it happened yesterday. She never forgot anything about her Norman Rockwell experience. And after the reunions, she was a big part of going to Arlington in the falls and meeting busloads of people and other tourists and signing her pictures and telling those people of her story. So right up until the very end, she was still busy telling her story about being a Norman Rockwell model.